The most common time when an operator will need to interact with the alarm or fault system is when the machine has an active fault. We usually display an active fault when there is something that needs to happen. The operator needs to intervene for some reason to continue the machine's automatic sequence. And we will do this for various reasons, but what we really try and avoid is the alarm system becoming useless. This can happen pretty often where the original programmer will create a fault or a reason why the machine needs to stop. And then when the machine's actually in production, the operators might find that fault can be useless. And a lot of the times what they'll do is just figure out some way to bypass it. And that's not good for a couple different reasons. One, they're sort of skipping over the original design intent that the programmer had. But then two, the fault is really meant for a critical situation. And if the machine doesn't need to stop, it shouldn't stop because then it causes downtime, that kind of thing. So from a programming perspective, we try and take the best approach and really only ever stop the machine when it absolutely needs an operator to continue its sequence. And if it doesn't need the operator to do something, then we shouldn't stop the machine. And really that's how we try and mitigate some of the operator bypassing or having the alarm system become completely useless. And we try and do the best we can, but we don't always get it right. And so oftentimes a conversation back and forth between us and the operators to try and find the most optimal solutions to whatever problems that we're having. But another big component of the alarm and fault system is actually displaying the active faults. The HMI, or human machine interface, is exactly what it sounds like. It's the interface between the operator and the actual machine. One of the biggest things that they'll interact with is the fault screen. So here we would have sort of a list of active faults, as well as a lot of the times we'll have a fault history where the operator can see which faults have occurred in the past and when they occurred. This again plays a huge role into the alarm or fault management system. The operator should be able to look at a fault and see exactly what the fault is, but not only that, but why the fault happened. We usually try and explain in the description potentially what caused it or that kind of thing. And then we will do our best to reference a wire number as well for maybe which specific sensor caused that fault, or maybe a component caused that fault. Us as programmers will do the best we can to give the operator exactly the information that they need to figure out why the machine stopped and how to get it running again as quickly as possible. And then we'll attach a timestamp to it as well, so we'll know exactly when the fault happened. Doing all of these things is best practice for having the most machine uptime and having the operators need to interact with the machine the least amount possible.